3D shapes and systems are the key focus of this question here from our paper 2. Now, we have to make sure that we can remember and recall all the key properties of three-dimensional and two-dimensional shapes that we should know and remember from all the way back to S1 and previously. Now, in S34 for the National 5 curriculum, there's been a few different key shapes that we've focused on. Specifically, pyramids, square-based and triangular-based, cones and spheres. Now, we need to remember all the formula for those, and we need to remember all the key properties. Now, just in case you do forget, thankfully the formula for the volume of all three of them is in the formula list at the start of the paper, but it certainly would be better if we could remember this off the top of our heads. Now, this kind of question here is fairly common, where it sets up a system like this, gives you in relation to three-dimensional axes x, y and z, and asks you to state a couple of coordinates, and you've got to think of the properties of the shape and their relation to the information given. So for this one, it wants the point A and it wants the point B. So it wants this point here for A and it wants this point here for B. Now we've got to read all the information and determine what parts are relevant to us for each of the points. Well, the first one is that A is the point of contact between the base and the x-axis. So it's right here. We know it's on the x-axis. So what that instantly tells me is that in terms of y and z, there is no change in the y direction or the z direction. So the y and z parts of my coordinate can actually be straight away written as 0. We just need to figure out the x. Now we know that it's halfway along the diameter of the cone. That's where the A lies. It's halfway along the diameter of the cone. But we also know that the diameter of the cone is 6 units. So if A is halfway along there, it's half of 6. So my coordinate for the point A is 3, 0, 0. We now have to start thinking about the point B. Now, the key bit of information for point B is here. It's directly above the centre of the base. Now we know that the centre of the base lies right here. It's halfway across the diameter in both the y and the x direction. Now we know the diameter is 6 units. What that means is in the x direction I've gone 3, and in the y direction I've gone 3. So I know for the coordinate B, my x and my y part are both equal to 3. What I now need to do is determine z. Well, if we think about it in relation to the cone, z gives me the exact height of the cone. And we know that the height is 8 units. So I know I've got to go up 8 to get to B. So the z part of my coordinate is quite simply 8. So I know I've got my coordinate B at 3, 3, 8. For questions like this, it is vital that we are able to recall and remember these key properties of shapes, specifically the volume shapes, so cones, pyramids and spheres. We have to be able to utilise all the information given to us in a question and everything that we can remember to be able to answer a question like this.